That's a really interesting realm too, the world of conducted large ensemble, sort of where free music and a larger orchestral kind of approach meets. You worked with Butch Morris, right?
I did.
What was his, I wonder if you could summarize what his approach to leading that size of an ensemble was, or what the mindset is sitting in a section where you're working with the conduction approach and kind of a free improvisation on that size.
I don't think it was anything free about Butch's music at all.
Okay.
I think that when you work with Butch, you as an improviser or a musician are literally an instrument that he's using, and I mean very literally.
Okay.
First of all, to work with him, if you were really, really doing the work, it demanded a lot more from you than a lot of other people's work would, because he had his own system.
Mm-hmm.
You really had to understand what all the symbols meant, the actions that they drove. There was a lot of things you had to remember, and then if you knew all those things and were in, as Bill Dixon would have said, you were really in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You were present. He would then build language sets using the memory of sections or individual musicians as an engine for generating language. So he had a cue for memory, which is like a repeat thing. You'd be playing, he might indicate the beginning of where you were playing, almost like cutting a piece of tape,
Mm-hmm.
and then indicate the end part. And not only were you supposed to be paying attention to it, but everybody else in the ensemble should have been paying attention to what he just grabbed. And he might call that memory 1 or memory 2. He may not come back to memory 1 right away, but at some point he will come back to memory 1 and expect everybody to remember memory 1. So the rigor of the conduction system and working with Butch on that, particularly I think in the last 10 years of his life, as it took him a long time to develop a way of getting what he wanted to get.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come quickly. I mean, I worked with him early in New York, not as early as some. And some of what he was trying to do worked and some of it didn't. But later in life, I was able to work with him a couple of times. We would do, in font, we would do these trumpet, we call it Trumpet Nation. It would be nothing but trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
And he would conduct those. We did a couple of those. I did. There were more than 2. It was fantastic.
Sure.
Fantastic. And I mean, to get off topic, people also forget that Butch was a cornet player.
Sure.
And I more than once went over to his house and sat and had nothing but a conversation about the cornet.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about conduction at all. And people forget his voice as an instrumentalist.
Sure.
Almost completely.
Yeah.
So.
And that was always going to inform what it is that he's doing, having the reflection of his own, whatever, instrumental experience on.
Yeah, Butch would tell you himself that what he created was only possible with him in front of everybody and demanding, because it wasn't asking, it was really demanding, your attention, your focus, your complete presence in what he was doing. I think the rigor of what he was doing was really something.
Sure.